Hi, my name is Jim and I was retired. So, the most taxing part of a retirement withdrawal strategy is deciding how much you will pay in cumulative taxes, federal and state. Will it be more than $1 million over your retirement or something less? In part 3, I'll show you how you can answer the question, how much will you pay in taxes, with my DIY retirement withdrawal strategy spreadsheet. Stay tuned. I'm back out here again in a sunny place in South Jersey. This is the Cooper River where the Dadvale was just this past weekend. And I also promise that this will be the last video on a spreadsheet for a while. There was early interest in my redesign of the spreadsheet, and part 1 got about 300 views, but last week's video did about a third of that, and I'm not sure what happened, but future videos will move on to alternatives. But I have completed the redesign of the spreadsheet, and I'll put a link to it in the Google Sites below so you can download it and adapt it to your needs if you're one of the small number of my audience that wants to go into the details. But even if you're not into the details, there's some important things you should know. The decisions on how you withdraw from your retirement plans will also determine how much you pay in taxes. I'll show you with the close-ups of the spreadsheets as I compare scenarios. So we'll begin out here with taxes. This is after all of the earnings, all the withdrawals, then your expenses. It gives you a surplus or a shortfall based on that, but that's before taxes. Then you have to take a look at your gross income, your taxable income, and the various tax rates you might be in at the federal and state level. First, this is how you calculate gross income, and this is how you calculate the taxable income. Let me show you the taxable income formula. It's taking a look at the gross and adjusting it for the standard deduction. Now, this standard deduction is through 2025. Now, take a look at the taxable income in 2025, and then it jumps with not much more in gross income to a more taxable income. What happens in this year, 2026? Well, if you look at the formula, you're going to see that the standard deduction is going to look at an estimation of what the standard deduction is going to be in 2026 based on current law. And that means it's going to be cut in about half. That sets up the federal tax rate. The state income tax is based on state taxable income. And in New Jersey, if you earn less than $100,000 in gross income, then very little of your retirement income will be taxed. Interests and dividends in your brokerage account, basically. So that's calculated here. But as you see, if you go over $100,000, then more of your income will be taxed by New Jersey. More and more of your income is going to be taxable in New Jersey. If I stay here, it's a good reason to move to Florida. We'll have to compare with the scenarios that we've got living here in New Jersey for this couple. And again, this is an ideal couple that we talked about. One is 64, one is 62, and fictitious information on an account similar to retirees you may know. Combined taxes here in each column adds the two estimated taxes from these two columns, and then you add that with the expenses to see what shortfall or surplus you have after taxes each year. And this is the column in the main sheet you want to get near zero first, using your basic strategy for withdrawals, and that is a payment schedule until RMDs and then RMDs thereafter. And again, that's the base case in the main sheet. But suppose you wanted to examine what your taxes would be if you got rid of RMDs completely by taking very large withdrawals from those tax deferred accounts early on in retirement so that there are no balances by the time you reach RMD age. That's another scenario. In some cases, the gross income will start to hit the cap for IRMAA. Once you go over a level of about 189,000, you start getting hit by IRMAA charges on your Medicare, and that's for both spouses once they're over 65. You want to try to avoid that. So another scenario I created was one that tapered them earlier to go up to that IRMAA level and get rid of them quickly, but not go over the IRMAA level. So that's another scenario. Then I live in New Jersey, and income is, as I said, retirement income is not taxed if you keep your gross income below a certain level. At some point, I'm not going to be able to do that, but I can target, if not 100,000, can I cap it at 125,000 so that I get a partial deduction or exemption for retirement income? And that's what this scenario does. Now, what I've done in the overview dashboard, this is where I had that current funded ratio based on the main sheet. You can create similar tables like this that will calculate it by moving this around to refer to the average taxes on each of the scenarios. What I did here was create a table that then refers to those 4 scenarios and looks at the taxes, the combined federal and state taxes for each of those scenarios, and then created over here a rolling tally of them, so you get the cumulative taxes under the 4 scenarios. And that led to these graphics over here. This one is the cumulative taxes by scenarios, and you can see the main, you start low, but at some point you're going to end up paying the most taxes if you stuck with all RMDs. If you can get rid of RMDs in some measure, either completely up to IRMAA limits or in recognition of any state taxation, you have the opportunity to lower your taxes. This looks at the path of each of those taxes, and this looks at the average annual combined taxes under those 4 scenarios. And as you can see, the main is about 27,000. No RMDs gets you down to about 24,790. If you limit it for IRMAA, you pay a little bit more. In New Jersey, you pay a little bit more. So those are the scenario choices you have and that you can analyze with a DIY retirement withdrawal strategy spreadsheet. Now I'll show you how you can get to it with my Google Sites. So here is my Google Sites for I Was Retired, and I'll put a link to this below, but you'll see the latest video here when I post it. But go over to Resources and look at Spreadsheet. And once you come over to this page, you'll see there's a new sample DIY retirement withdrawal strategy spreadsheet posted here. And you're going to access it by doing this. You're going to click on this and hit this to expand it into a new window. Now, it's important that when you do this, you open it up, it says View Only. You're going to want to make a copy or download it so that you can use it. So I hope you find this helpful. I will warn you, this has been converted from numbers to an Excel format, which will then open up in Google Sheets or download into your software. And as I've covered before, this is not an easy process. Hey, please like and subscribe to this channel if you like entertaining ideas from a DIY retiree. Now, next week, I'll begin to explore some online alternatives to my DIY retirement withdrawal strategy spreadsheet, including Personal Capital, which is now rebranded Empower, and New Retirement, a different website, has a different approach to it. Please remember to hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted to my next video. And I'll conclude with my standard warning: I have no initials after my name, so take these as entertaining ideas from one educated consumer to another. Always do your own due diligence and seek out a professional if you need one.